Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, yeah, we've got some teams that are screwed, and we've got an ugly college football playoff situation. If you remember last year, we were kind of in a similar situation, but there were teams with 3 losses that got knocked out, most of which were SEC teams. Well, this time it could be some big dogs getting knocked out, and it's because of some weirdness with these automatic qualifiers for the conference championship, the automatic group of 5, all of that. Notre Dame could get knocked out. That would be huge because Notre Dame is not a team you get to push around. Now, Vanderbilt they're out. They're definitely out. They went 10-2 in the SEC. They only had 2 losses. One was to at Alabama on the road. The other was to Texas on the road. And they were close ball games. Matter of fact, Vandy almost came back and beat Texas. So they had 2 quality losses, and they were coming on strong at the end, unfortunately for my team, Tennessee. And they are not happy either. They feel like they're getting creeped because of their name, which makes sense. Look, they're Vanderbilt. Nobody has a high opinion of them, so they're not going to get protected. And then Miami, they play in the ACC. That's not helpful. Now, if you look at the college football playoff rankings, you know a lot of these teams are fine until you get down into the bottom here. 10th place, that seems like, gosh, they're in. There's 12 teams, so you got to be in at 10th, right? Nothing to worry about. Not so fast, my friend. Being in 10th spot is pretty much where Alabama was last year, and you remember they got kicked out when Clemson won the ACC Conference Championship, and even though they were ranked higher than them, they got kicked out because of the automatic qualifiers. We're not taking the 12 best teams. We're taking about the 8 or 9 best teams, and then we're throwing in some conference championships, and then, of course, the group of 5 spot, which we might even have 2 teams from the group of 5 get into the playoff, which is absurd.
That doesn't make sense.
It's bad enough to have 1, but we're going to have possibly 2. Can you imagine James Madison and Tulane both in the CFP? And Texas is ticked off because they're out, and that's a big-time team to get knocked out, but they're 9-3. They don't really have a leg to stand on there, but they're Texas. And they don't like being pushed around at all, even when they're not being pushed around. It's just who they are. And, of course, Utah's out as well, even though they're a good quality team. See, Virginia down here at 17th, they got a legit shot of getting in because they're playing in the conference championship. And they're playing against Duke, who is 7-5.
It's not true. That's impossible.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
ACC Conference Championship is a 7-5 versus a 10-2, and the 7-5 is not even the top 25. Imagine it, and here's the thing. They could win and not get in at all because they're not the top 5 highest-ranked conference champions. This thing gets messier and messier, and Vanderbilt was so desperate, they tried to schedule a last-minute 13th game to try to improve the college football playoff committee, to try to impress the college football playoff committee. Clark Lee even went so far as to say, keep your bags packed in case we get permitted to play another game. And he said he'd be prepared in 2 days if called. So while I applaud the effort, look, you're not getting in because of your name. Let's just get real with it. That committee is not going to be impressed with the name Vanderbilt.
Hey, Spike, how about we chase cars, huh? Does that sound like fun? Yeah, that wouldn't be no fun.
You would have to be 11-1 or 12-0 to get in. That's just a fact. And even though Notre Dame's sitting at number 10, here's the frightening part for them. If BYU beats Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship, they'd be that would put both teams in because Texas Tech's in the top 6. It talks about the latest college football playoff rankings. So that would put BYU in and most likely Notre Dame out. And Alabama, I think, is going to stay in no matter what, because they normally don't penalize you for playing an extra game. And I really think it's to the point where if Notre Dame gets knocked out of this, let's say BYU beats Texas Tech in the conference championship and Notre Dame gets knocked out, they might want to consider joining the ACC because they would be playing Virginia right now, and they would whoop Virginia. But because Notre Dame is They just can't be touched. Oh, no, we can't be in a conference because we cut our own TV deal and we can't be held back. Well, then join the Big Ten gets plenty of money for their TV rights. And Big Ten would love to have you.
Ew, get off of me. Ugh, as if.
Oh, yeah, they want Notre Dame so bad they can't stand it. But Notre Dame is very standoffish. They're the precious pup, and they're not going to join a conference. If it costs them the playoff this year, they might consider it. Now, I have had a solution from this from day one, and it's very simple. Take the top 16 teams, forget this 12-team crap, go to 16 like they've been wanting to do, let the top 8 play the bottom 8 in the first game, and the top 8 gets to play at home. That's a huge advantage. You'd have a lot more money for TV rights for the college football playoff, which would get every team more money, because all conferences get paid for that, plus Notre Dame has to have their individual deal, and it would fix all this. And take the top 16 teams, and if you win a conference championship, you should fall into the top 16. If you don't, you had a really crappy year, and we could solve all of this. And Greg Sankey had the opportunity to get all that done. All he had to do was hold back on the 9-game season that Big Ten desperately wanted the SEC to move to, and they'd have done the 16 in a second. But because he caved early, because for some reason Tony Petitti's got some sort of power over him and completely owns him, he just does whatever Tony wants him to do. Oh, you want us to go to 9 games even though strength of schedule has been our downfall for years because we play in such a tough conference? Oh, sure, I'll go to 9 games. Anything else, Tony? Is there anything else we can do for you, Mr. Petitti? Greg Sankey should be fired. Just get him out of there. But anyway, that's what they're going to have to do to solve this. We're going to once again have multiple teams get creaked, and some of these teams are 10-2, not 9-3, and deserve to get it. Miami they're going to get totally creaked. There's almost no question about it. And that's 2 years in a row, Miami, 2 years in a row that you're going to not get in at 10-2. If we had 16 teams, you'd be in both years. So until they solve this, we're going to continue to have nothing but problems with this playoff. And it's such an easy solution. It fixes everything. But will they do it? Won't they? Surely they will after this. I keep saying that surely they'll fix this. Now, they'll have the opportunity to do this. They were stuck at 12 teams, so I can kind of understand sticking with it this year. But next year, there's no excuse. You can easily fix this. It was a 2-year understanding, and they should never go past 2 years. When they do the 16, do it for 2 years, see how it goes. It should be fine. I never want them to go to more than 16. I'd love it if they did a 10-year understanding with that, because I think it's just going to get ridiculous. You turn into the March Madness and have like 64 teams. I don't want that. But 16 should solve it, but do it for 2 years. That way everybody can calm down and realize, these teams, these quality teams that deserve to get in, like a Vanderbilt, who had a great season, they deserve to get in, and they're not going to. And if Notre Dame gets knocked out at 10-2, when they've been really one of the strongest teams the last 10 games, maybe we'll get something done. But until they go to 16, until they go with the actual top 16 teams, we're going to have problems. And if we get 2 group of 5 teams in this year, and that could easily happen, because here's the scenario. James Madison wins, and they're already in the top 25, and then Tulane wins, and then Duke beats Virginia, you get James Madison and Tulane in.
See, now that's some bullshit.
Kaboom. You get 2 group of 5 teams in, and Notre Dame's out, Texas is out, Vandy's out, Miami's out. Oh, you're going to have some upset fan bases. And that's tens of millions of people angry. And powerful, very powerful teams in Notre Dame. And Notre Dame's not to be dissuaded. Something's going to give if that happens. I almost want it to happen at this point. Maybe if some disaster happens, you get 2 group of 5 teams in, maybe that'll get their attention and realize we got to make some changes. But anyway, that's college football today. It's a big mess. We know that. Eventually it'll get played out. It'll get worked out. Whether it's collective bargaining, whether it's going through a bunch of teams getting screwed over in the college football playoff, eventually it'll get worked out. But it's going to be painful for the next year or 2 for a lot of teams.
Prediction?
Yes, prediction.
Pain.
while I doubt Greg Sankey ever comes to his senses, at some point maybe he'll retire and we can get somebody in there that knows what he's doing. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, boom, and boom, hit that little button right there. It won't cost you a dime. Help you get my videos. And right over here is the most recent video, YouTube. Thanks, you'll enjoy. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay. Sorry, Diego. You deserve to get in, but ain't happening.
I'll turn this damn bus around. That'll end your precious little field trip pretty damn quick, huh?